One of the fundamental strategies for living a good life is knowing exactly what information you need in order to reach your goals. And once you know what you need to know, the next step is to understand how to go about finding that knowledge. One of the greatest gifts Mr. Shoaff gave me in those early days was instilling in me the value of study. He said, "If you wish to be successful, study success. If you wish to be happy, study happiness. If you want to make money, study the acquisition of wealth. Those who achieve these things don't do it by accident. It's a matter of studying first and practicing second." Would you like to guess how many people actually study wealth? That's right, very few. Considering how many people desire wealth and happiness, you'd think they'd study them carefully, wouldn't you agree? Why they don't? That belongs to a special category I like to call life's mysteries. Years ago, I discovered that some of the best advice ever given comes from the Bible. There's a passage in that remarkable book that says, "If you search, you shall find." And that is the way to uncover new knowledge that leads to new ideas. Search. In order to find, you must first seek. Need a great idea to change your life? Rarely will it drop out of nowhere, but if you search diligently for the knowledge you need, the right idea will eventually find its way to you, often when you least expect it. Capturing the treasures of knowledge. Here's another powerful word to consider: capture. Great ideas pass by quickly and are easily forgotten, just like the special moments that make life meaningful. That's why it's so important to learn how to capture the things that truly matter. First, learn to capture meaningful moments. Use a camera. Take plenty of pictures. The ability to freeze an event in a fraction of a second is a phenomenon of the modern age, and how easily we take such phenomena for granted. Let me tell you about a recent experience. For the past 3 years, I've been invited to give annual lectures in Taiwan. On my most recent trip, I conducted a weekend seminar attended by about 1,000 people. Now, if there were 1,000 people in the room, guess how many cameras were there? That's right, 1,000. Everyone brought a camera to capture the moments, the friendships, the new experiences. I spent a good portion of the time posing for pictures. Have you ever looked at photographs from a few generations ago? Sadly, there aren't many left in circulation. Wouldn't it be amazing if we had enough pictures to tell the full story of life 100 years ago? So, don't be passive. Be intentional about leaving behind a treasury of photographs and videos that tell your story. Another way to capture knowledge is through your personal library. I don't mean the books your interior designer chose to match your living room. I mean the ones with dog-eared pages and notes in the margins. The books you actually studied, marked up, and learned from. The books that helped form your personal philosophy. That kind of library is a true treasure. Today, with the expansion of media, this treasure also includes audio and video recordings that have influenced your life for the better. These are valuable gifts you can pass down to future generations. Finally, capture the knowledge you gain from living your own life. That's why I encourage you to use a journal or diary. Make it your repository for ideas, insights, and inspiration. Over time, you'll build an incredible collection. Business ideas, cultural insights, lifestyle philosophies, investment strategies. Can you imagine the value of such a treasure? It might be the most meaningful inheritance you ever leave behind. How to gain wisdom. There are 2 primary ways to gather wisdom: by learning from your own life and by learning from the lives of others. Personal reflection. Look back on your life experiences. Develop the habit of reflection, the thoughtful consideration of what life is trying to teach you. I call this process rerunning the tapes. Your life events are rich sources of knowledge. So don't just go through your days, grow through them. Pay attention to what's happening around you and imprint those lessons into your awareness. Life has a rhythm, a message, a teaching, if you're paying attention. At the end of each day, take a few moments to reflect. Where did you go? What did you do? What worked? What didn't? What would you do again? What would you avoid? Remember details, sights, sounds, conversations, feelings. Experience can become a kind of currency, a store of value, but only if you take the time to record it, think on it, and turn it into something useful. It's not what happens to you that shapes your life. It's what you do with what happens. And don't just reflect daily. Take time at the end of each week, each month, and especially at the end of each year. Take an hour, a day, or even a week to process the journey you've been on. I once told my father when he turned 76, "Can you imagine gathering up the last 75 years and investing them into your 76th? Life becomes infinitely more exciting when you live it that way. Don't just let the next year happen to you. Bring all your previous years with you and pour them into the next one. Don't just have another conversation. Bring your life's lessons to it." So start a new discipline. Observe your own life. Figure out what works. Don't let it be said that you lived without ever understanding how life works. You may not be able to do everything you learn, but you should at least learn everything you can. Study your failures as well as your victories. Our failures often teach us more than our successes ever could. Yes, one way to learn the right way is by doing it the wrong way. That's a valuable lesson, but I don't recommend staying in the wrong way class too long. If you've been doing something the wrong way for 10 years, please don't sign up for another 10. Learn quickly. Experience is powerful, but only if it teaches you something. When I met Mr. Shoaff, I had already been working for 6 years. One of the first things he asked me was, "Jim, how long have you been working?" I told him. "And how are you doing?" he asked. "Not very well," I admitted, a bit embarrassed. "Then I suggest you stop doing that," he replied. 6 years is long enough to run the wrong plan." Then he asked, "How much money have you saved in the past 6 years?" "None," I said sheepishly. Raising an eyebrow, he asked, "Who sold you on that plan?" What a question. Where did I get such a terrible plan? Because everyone has bought into someone's plan. The real question is, whose plan have you bought? Confronting your past choices can be uncomfortable, especially if, like me, you've made your share of mistakes. But think of the payoff. Think of the growth that can come from finally facing the truth. Learning from others. Another path to wisdom is to learn vicariously, through the experiences of others. Learn from their triumphs and their mistakes. One of the reasons the Bible is such a powerful teacher is because it's full of human stories. Some are examples, others are warnings. Both are rich in wisdom. If your story ever ends up in someone's book, make sure it's used as an example, not a warning. You can learn from others in 3 key ways: through books, audio programs, and videos. By listening to what people say, especially the wise and the foolish. By observing what people do, their habits, their decisions, their results. Books and tapes. Every successful person I know is an avid reader. They read constantly. Their curiosity drives them. They're always looking for new ideas, new strategies, and better ways to live. Remember this: all leaders are readers. It used to be that publishing referred to only books. But today we also have access to recorded audio and video. Tools that can feed the mind even during busy times. Some of the most productive people I know listen to recordings while commuting. There are thousands of books and recordings on how to be a better leader, communicator, partner, investor, or entrepreneur. Yet many people never tap into this treasure of wisdom. Why? Ask people why they don't read and you'll hear excuses. "I'm tired after work. I need to relax. I don't have time." Yet these are often the same people who are behind on their bills or frustrated with their lives. You can be sincere and work hard and still struggle. It's not enough to work hard, you must also learn hard. You don't have to read or listen all night. Just start with 30 minutes a day. That's it. Want to go further? Stretch it to an hour. But whatever you do, don't miss. Miss a meal if you have to, but not your daily learning time. Humans do not live on bread alone. Our minds and souls also need nourishment, and most people are suffering from mental malnutrition. Some people read so little they have rickets of the mind. Feed your brain well. Don't just snack on mental candy. Get a balanced intellectual diet. Treat your reading time as time spent tapping the treasure of human thought. If you have a good excuse for not investing in your education, I'd love to hear it. Some excuses are so outrageous they're almost funny. John, I say, I found a gold mine. Come dig with me. John replies, but I don't have a shovel. Well then, go get one. He says, do you know what shovels cost these days? Invest in yourself. Get the books, get the tapes. Don't cheat your future. Mr. Shoaff told me early on, become self-educated. Standard education will give you standard results. Check the income of those with standard education. If that's not what you want, learn more than the standard. So I built my library. Today it's one of my most valuable possessions. Shoaff gave me a short reading list. One was the Bible, which I already had. The other was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. If you haven't read it, do it now. I read it dozens of times. I had to. Shoaff reminded me, repetition is the mother of skill, and judging by my bank account, I needed skill. That book alone has been worth tens of thousands of dollars to me, and I paid just pennies for it. Lesson learned. There's a big difference between cost and value. Before meeting Shoaff, I used to ask, how much does it cost? He taught me to ask, what is it worth? When I started living by value instead of price, my whole life changed. You are what you read. One of the first things I notice when I visit someone's home is their library. It tells me what they're thinking, or if they're thinking at all. Your books reveal your thoughts, your goals, your values. What does your library say about you? Reading isn't a luxury, it's a requirement for anyone serious about growth.